Is a mistake on top of a mistake and once again exposes the blackmailing nature of the US. China will never accept this. China will fight to the end. That is the statement from the country's commerce ministry as the country threatens to take further countermeasures against the United States to safeguard its own interests. Hence then that rather than backing down amid Trump's threat to impose an additional 50% tariffs on Chinese imports, China could dig in and increase further its retaliatory tariffs on the US. That as Trump himself hints at possible deals with other individual countries.
Would you be open to a pause in tariffs to allow for negotiations?
Well, we're not looking at that. We have many countries that are coming to negotiate deals with us, and they're going to be fair deals. And in certain cases, they're going to be paying substantial tariffs. There'll be fair deals.
There have been some mixed messages from your administration. You're talking about negotiations, and yet others in your administration are saying that these tariffs are actually permanent. What is the action?
Well, it could be. They can both be true. There can be permanent tariffs, and there can also be negotiations.
Well, let's bring in our business editor, Charles Pellegrin, who's going to bring us more, Charles.
Yeah, I'll focus on the U.S.-China trade relationship between the world's two biggest economies, so a very important one. Trump vowing to slap an additional 50% tariff on Chinese goods unless Beijing withdraws its tit-for-tat retaliation it announced following Trump's Liberation Day announcements last week. That would lead to cumulative tariffs worth 104%, and that threat from Washington appears to have just perpetuated a negative spiral, with China pledging to retaliate even further in a statement from the country's commerce ministry read out loud on the national news. Take a listen.
The so-called reciprocal tariffs imposed by the US on China are groundless and a typical unilateral bullying practice. The United States' threat to escalate tariffs on China is a mistake on top of a mistake and exposes again the blackmailing nature of the US. China will never accept it. If the United States insists on its own way, China will fight to the end.
Yes, so Charles, that response from China suggests a negotiated solution doesn't appear possible in the short term anyway.
And that suggests further decoupling between the world's two most powerful economies. The U.S. represents about 15% of all Chinese exports, and the export sector represented about a third of China's GDP last year. So these U.S. tariffs will have a definite impact on Beijing, but Xi Jinping has a few tools in his tool belt that could help soften the blow and support his domestic market. China's central bank has allowed for depreciation of its currency, the yuan, in order to boost the appeal of its exports to other countries around the world. The daily reference rate it fixes has crossed a symbolic threshold.